people outside picketing, it is because of this building. The Constitutional Court gives you the right to come if you are disgruntled and to be heard. So these are people fighting for their reparations. Yes, we had big companies like Ford, Chevy, all of Anglo-American De Beers, which were working with the apartheid government. So in 1994, after becoming democratic, in 4 years down the line, they were given reparations. Some of them, not all of them. So that's why these ladies and men are here petitioning for their, I'd say, yes, reparations. Now, ladies and gentlemen, coming here, yes, it is a working and active court. As you're sitting, the idea and the theme is called African Justice Under a Tree. So yes, as I said, I come from the Xhosa tribe. We still do have our monarchies, our Xhosa kings, chiefs, and even elders. In the rural Eastern Cape, there isn't a lot of court buildings as in urban areas. So to resolve matters, we still do it under big sacred tree. Why? This is where land will be disputed under the tree. This is where marriages will be disputed. Even capital will be disputed. So that's where matters will be resolved under that big sacred tree. So that's where the judgment and the design has actually taken place. Now 60% of this building, it's made out of glass. While to contrast that, when you're under a tree, you could see totally what is happening. So the same instance in Saja, that everything should be always open to the public. Nothing should be hidden. And then 40% is made out of concrete. Whatever that you see here, from the sculptures, paintings, has a meaning behind. Coming to these pillars standing in a very crooked way. The brown part of the mosaic at the bottom represents the bark or the stem of the tree. Then you get the green on top, the light bulbs, and these chalets onto the side, representing the branches and the leaves of the tree. Then you also have a roof opening, which lets the sunshine in when the sun is high up in the sky, as of the feel of being under a tree. So that's why we call it justice education. Either before you or against you. We call it African justice under a tree. Then on to my right hand side, we have an art gallery, which showcases all South African artists. So when we're done, we may view it, ladies and gentlemen. Now, further to everyone sit onto that side, others sit onto that. So you will be standing and going inside the chairs. Please let's mind our step as coming down to the stairs, and then you may have a seat. How much of these steps in there? Thank you, my dad. Alright. So everyone, do mind your step when coming down, and then you may have a seat. Please mind you step out the stairs, they're very sharp and edgy. Welcome you into the actual Constitutional Court. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is where all the magic happens in this court. This is where some of our laws are changed and also others are amended into our Constitution. The process takes place right in this building. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the court is in session for 4 quarters, broken into a 7-month span. Now, the first quarter is in February, March. April, they take a break, come back in May, June. July, take another break, come back in August, September. October, take the final break for the month of November. At the end of November, they close for the festive season, come back the next following year. So year in, year out, that's how this court actually operates, ladies and gentlemen. Now, where you are seated, that is regarded as the public gallery. Now, the public gallery is meant for the community of South Africa. Even international visitors like yourselves, you are allowed to come in and view. So meaning that, let's say today there was a court case. Yes, we were going to enter from the outside. Then at your own discretion, you enter inside, sign in by the reception, and that's where you'll be seated each and every time. Then, ladies and gentlemen, we have that balcony above our heads, which is called the press box or media gallery. Now, the media is always invited to show that we are open and even transparent. So meaning, yes, it is televised, broadcast onto the news, internet, and even published onto our newspapers. Whatever court case or judgment, that comes from here. Then, ladies and gentlemen, we have these 4 rooms on top. Those are for the prescribers or translators. Why? Because we have so many languages. Yes, the court carries on in English, then translated to the other 10 official languages right up there. Now, when the court adjourns for the day, you'll get a media summary in the language of your preference, either either be Zulu, Xhosa, Tswana, Afrikaans, whatever language that you prefer. Why? So that you can take it home, read it, digest it, and understand more what was happening during the day of the court case, ladies and gentlemen. Then we also have the largest beaded South African flag in the country, which is 6 meters long. You will never find any other flag as beautiful as this, as large as this, but the one in this court, designed by 7 Zulu women who actually donated this to the court in 2006, ladies and gentlemen. Then we also have the tables which are covered in the cowhide. Those 11 tables are for the 11 judges. Now, yes, it's a real cowhide taken from the Nguni cow, indigenous to South Africa. Now, we have 11 of our judges to represent the 11 cultures that we have. But, ladies and gentlemen, it does not necessarily mean they're handpicked. No. It is by credentials that you are appointed. Now, they are appointed by the JSC, which is the Justice Service Commission. Now, it will appoint the 9 that will be seated right here. Then the Chief Justice, who sits in the center, then the deputy on his right. Those are the only 2 people who have permanent seats and chosen by the president. But ladies and gentlemen, they only serve, all of them, a number of 12 years or retire at the age of 70. So whichever comes first, you have to step down. You can never be reinstated, ladies and gentlemen. Then our judges are only given 2 assistants each, in total 22. So the senior assistant sits underneath the judge at the bottom. Then the junior onto those 2 tables, or this table onto my left hand side. Then, ladies and gentlemen, we have these 4 tables here, which are only reserved for your lawyers and opposing counsel. So meaning that if you have got the case to court, you will never be seated here with your lawyers, but seated right there in the public gallery while they present the case to the judges. As you can see, everyone, we do not have a witness box. We do not have an accused box. So the whole design of this court was not to intimidate people, but to make people feel at home. So that's why it was designed in this very, very unique manner, ladies and gentlemen. Then coming back to the carpet and the lighting. The lighting is to serve as the sun, keeping with the theme of African justice under a tree. So yes, then we have the greyish color and the purplish color is to symbolize the shades. That when you're under a tree or even under the sun, you can see your shades or shadows. So that's why they use the greyish color and the purplish color to symbolize the shades. Now going with the tapestry, it goes hand in hand with the carpet. Then the names at the bottom are the people who actually designed and have installed this in 2004. Then, ladies and gentlemen, as we can see, the wall to my left is very different to the one to my right. Why? It's because when they demolished the waiting child block, now, yes, in the 2000, which is to pierce right through this building, that's when the judges decided, let's not get rid of the heritage, let's actually recycle it and then infuse it with the new building. So meaning that the bricks of the past, which used to violate human rights, today this is where everybody's rights are being protected. So that's why they're not being covered or plastered, to symbolize freedom, that today it's a living, breathing space, where at one point you used to violate, today this is where it actually protects. Then we also have a glass opening which sees right through to the street. That is a sign of transparency, ladies and gentlemen. Now, ladies and gentlemen, any questions from your side? Yes, ma'am.
So this was designed with the concept of lekhotla.
Yeah, lekhotla, meaning African justice. Yes.
Under the tree.
Yes. That's why you'll see the logo everywhere. Right there, even you'll see it when you go outside. So our logo is very different to the Constitutional Court. That's where it comes from, mama. Meaning lekhotla inkundla, meaning African justice under a tree. As you also see, our setting of our judges is very different. So our judges, we take our law from the Roman Dutch law, where we have a judge and advisors. So in the Supreme Court, which is, I would say, the second highest now. Now, you'd find maybe 5 or 6 judges. But in most court cases like High Court or Supreme Court, you find 1 judge, then advisors at the bottom. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, our law is still taken from the Roman Dutch law. Okay? And yes.
So if I don't understand well, there are 11 judges.
Yeah.
11 because there are 11 different languages.
No. We have 11 of different languages. That is to represent the cultures and the language. That's why. But we don't pick them. It is by credentials that you are appointed. Okay. You must be a judge from the law courts.
Okay.
Yes.
What kind of cases are heard?
Another good question. So 2 cases which come to my mind. We had a big pandemic of HIV and AIDS. And yes, It comes close to my heart because my dad died of it. A couple of cousins, aunties. It decimated a lot of people during the 70s, 80s, even going to the 2000s. In 2005, that's when the Minister of Health and the President were procured. Then, in that same year, they won the submission that our public hospitals and clinic should be giving medication to people who cannot afford and who are suffering from this disease. Then in 2014, in African custom, it's still very taboo. Gays and lesbians having the right to marry and adopt kids. In 2014, they also came here. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, or also Home Affairs, and the President was pro-chair. They won that submission in 2014. We were also one of the African countries which sees gays and lesbians' rights. They seem legal. They can adopt kids, they can get married. So those are the kinds of cases that come here, sir. Mainly that will affect the whole of the country. And not any other way.
As a follow-up on that, are the cases that are heard here first heard someplace else?
It has to, before, we have emergency cases. Those are very rare, emergency cases which comes straight to the court. But to bring a matter here, it has to go through the three judiciaries, which is the local court, the high court, then the Supreme Court, then it comes to here. But you find emergency cases, which case straight comes to the Constitutional Court. But that is very, very rare.
What's this interesting glass panel structure for?
It is acoustic.
Acoustic.
Yeah, they don't use speakers, but it is the acoustic that they use for the sound.
Right.
Now, from this point, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to say it's been a privilege and it's been an honor to have you as my guest. If you have enjoyed the tour, you may tip the card. This is my tip cup, this white cup here, right here. From this point, when we say thank you in my language, we say enkosi, and then in my small French, which I'm trying to learn, au revoir, merci beaucoup, everyone. Thank you. So I'm going to give you about 2 to 3 minutes, ladies and gentlemen, just to walk around, take some pictures, then we'll be proceeding outside, okay? Now, when we're done, the art gallery is open. You may view it for a few minutes, all right? Then proceed outside, ladies and gentlemen. It is your time.